Hi friends, I asked my followers and subscribers to send me clothing pieces that they're debating on buying, that they're unsure about. We're gonna look at them together. I'll be sharing whether I feel like they should purchase them, pass on them, or if I feel like there's better alternatives, I will suggest some. Of course, keep in mind my suggestions are biased, but also based on some experience. I'm less impulsive than I once was, and I thrift a lot less now. The first submission is by Soph at Oat Milk Souffle on Instagram and Pinterest. I recommend that you go give her a follow. She has impeccable style and taste. Her submission is this vintage suede jacket. I think it's absolutely beautiful. So the first pro is it is 100% leather, so if you take care of it, it'll probably last you for the rest of your life. It could even be a family heirloom if you'd like. The only con with these type of jackets is that they're kind of a pain to wash. You have to get them dry clean. It can be expensive. Hopefully whoever you're purchasing from doesn't have a stinky home. I'm trying to think of a nice way to put that, but like a smoke-free home. I bought leather pieces online before and at the thrift store, and that I just could not get the smell out of. Just something to keep in mind. Oh my god, this reminds me, I bought a like Y2K dress on Depop that I had to return. It smelled so bad. It smelled like she washed it and then put it inside of the package wet and then dried on the way to my house, so when I opened it, mildew just hit my face. But okay, I'm going off topic. Anyway, I also think the price is a little bit steep. I know it's like 100% leather and everything, but I would haggle just a little bit, maybe like take off like $20 or something and see if they accept. However, if a lot of people have liked it, I would say just buy it as is, because you know how competitive Depop is. The amount of times I'm like, oh, let me wait on this, and then I go back and gone. I would say this jacket is definitely a statement piece. Very trendy at the moment. Fringe is trending. However, you can argue that fringe and suede is timeless. Another thing to keep in mind is, do you see yourself styling it in at least 5 to 10 different ways? If you have like other pieces that complement it. I love the chocolate brown color. I think that makes it very versatile. I think you had mentioned you were thinking about getting it in burgundy or like a reddish color. I feel like brown is a little bit more wearable. Knowing Sophie's style and the way that she implements vintage pieces with more modern pieces, and she plays around with different layering and aesthetics from different eras, and I feel like she could definitely pull off this jacket and make it work. Looking at her Pinterest board, she has so many pieces that would pair well with this jacket, especially if she doesn't have anything like this already. I think it is a great addition to her wardrobe. 100% I think you should get it. Hopefully she gets a little discount. I'm rooting for her. The next submission is by Lauren, and she submitted the Doc Marten Fina boots. I had no idea these existed, and I'm absolutely in love. I can totally relate to you wanting these so bad. I tried so hard to search for comparable boots and had no luck. The multi-strap feature is what makes them so unique and so hard to find. Devastating, to be honest. And they go for like $300 to $400 if you can find your size online. I wish Doc Martens would bring this style back. They would make so much money. My god. They might bring them back. I don't know. Maybe if I harass them in their DMs, they'll bring them back. They have done that, right? They've definitely come out with some newer styles inspired by older styles, so I don't know. Maybe they'll do like a refreshed version of this boot. Don't change it too much, Doc Martens, if you can hear me. You did say you're open to suggestions, and I do have 2 of them for you. If the buckles aren't a deal breaker for you, you can go for the Doc 1B99 Virginia leather mid-calf boots, which I have. They definitely have a similar vibe. They hit at a similar point in the leg. Very versatile, 100% leather. I love them. I wear them to death. They go with everything. The other alternative that you can go for is a moto boot. They have the strap detail that you like, the buckles that you like. However, I will say the moto boot style is quite a bit different. It's not as fitted to the calf, a little bit more relaxed, more loose. I have a pair. I love them. I wear them a ton in the summer. So I guess my response to you would be, this is a maybe. If you're willing to shell out the money and you absolutely love them, need to have them, see yourself wearing them all the time, I say go for it, honestly. I can picture a million outfits with these boots, so without a doubt, I'm sure you will have no trouble styling them if you get them. I'll be extremely jealous, actually. So let me know if you end up getting these. The third entry is by Jimena, and she wrote, I'm debating on buying this Baggu everyday cloud bag in the fit colorway. It's so gorgeous and seems so spacious. I feel the color and size are perfect for my everyday work life and upcoming trips, possibly even grad school in the future. Only things that are holding me back from getting it are, number 1, it's not out yet. It's an upcoming drop, and a lot of people in the Baggu community are going to be buying it. So I don't want to feel like I'm on Ticketmaster waiting for Taylor tickets. That's so real. Number 2, I usually prefer crossbody bags because I'm not sure if the shoulder strap will be uncomfy, especially when traveling. But since I have a work trip, I want something that reads a bit more professional, but also that represents me. Number 3, I don't really have any bags as spacious as this, but I feel like I could find one someplace else or just borrow one for the trip. First off, I agree the color is absolutely stunning. It looks extremely roomy. However, I will say if you plan on utilizing this for travel, for grad school, I would say a strap is extremely essential. But if you're walking around campus and you need to be hands-free, you're holding a matcha in one hand, coffee for your friend in the other, you don't want to be fumbling with the strap. It's like sliding off your shoulder. It is the worst. So that's con number 1. Con number 2 would be the material. I may be biased, but I feel like the nylon material doesn't read as professional as, say, leather. To me, leather just screams professional. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree. Also, I don't know if the color is as versatile as, like, say, a black bag, a brown bag, but I don't know your style. Maybe you're someone who dresses colorful or someone who doesn't mind color clashing a little bit. Something to keep in mind. My recommendation to you would be to look for something in leather, a similar size, similar shape with the crossbody option. I would say look on eBay, Poshmark, Depop maybe. People tend to overprice stuff on there. I did some digging online. A bag that I found that I feel like you might be into, I'm not sure. Yes, it is a little bit pricier because it's 100% genuine leather. Of course, ignore this if you're on a budget. Definitely go for secondhand. But anyway, the brand is Portland Leather. I've worked with them in the past. They've sent me a couple of their bags. Still in great condition. Anyway, they have a really beautiful one. It's called the medium crossbody tote. It's a similar size in the one that you're into, and you can wear it on your shoulder, you can wear it crossbody. It's roomy. They have it in different colorways if you're into that. They also have a larger version, which is the one that I have. I know you also mentioned you'd like the bag to feel you, and there's different ways that you can achieve this. You can add buttons to your bag, a cute scarf in a print that you like. You can also add cute keychains. I don't know how you feel about using pins or buttons on leather. I personally don't care. I know that it can damage the leather a little bit, but I think it looks cute, so I just look past it. Final answer would be no for this one. I think you could find something better. Also, it kind of annoys me the way that they drop these bags and create a scarcity mindset. I looked up the details the next day after I saw your message and it was already sold out, so I guess it's a definite no. I wish her all the luck in finding the ideal bag. The 4th entry was submitted by my beautiful friend Denise, aka Space Bunny on Instagram and Pinterest, I believe. She has impeccable style. Go follow her. She told me she's debating purchasing the Salomon XT6s in grain. I'll be honest, my automatic response was like, no, don't get these. Just because I'm not a huge fan of these very sporty sneakers. But then I took some time to process, and there's definitely more pros and cons to getting these. Whenever someone talks about Salomons, they talk about how comfortable they are, so that's one pro. Also, I love the green color. I think that makes them a little more special than the regular black colorway. I also think they're a good investment for working out, for long walks. I can see these being her travel shoe. Although she said she primarily wants these for hiking and wearing them outside of work, I think this would be cool for work too. She wears scrubs, and I feel like these would really go well with her scrubs and just add a little touch of her personal style. But at work, I know that could be hard sometimes. I also looked up these shoes on Pinterest, and so many cute outfits popped up. They definitely work, especially in like the wrong shoe theory type of way. And I believe that every girl needs a proper comfy sneaker. And the last pro is I know her style. I know that she would make these work. I can see her styling these in so many different ways. So my answer is yes. I think you should definitely get them, girl. The next entry is by Mackenzie, and she's thinking of buying these Marianero jeans. I believe it is a Korean brand. I looked up the currency exchange and they go for about $35, so extremely affordable. I looked at the details and I couldn't make out whether they're made of cotton or polyester, like what they're made of. It was a little annoying because I think looking at the fabric is essential when trying to figure out if you should purchase something, but there's nothing I could do. First off, I love the color. I love the folds on the jeans. However, I find the silhouette incredibly trendy, hyper trendy, I might say, and they're not very flattering on a lot of people, in my opinion. They are teetering on being a little goofy. It's giving this a little bit. I would say pass on these. I suggest going for something similar but less voluminous in silhouette. For instance, I found these A brand 95 baggy jeans on the Urban Outfitters website that are pretty cute, similar in style, same color basically, and they're also folded at the bottom, so Just a suggestion. The next entry is by my stylish friend Sarita at Tigra Electra on Instagram and all her socials, I believe. Her entry is a lacy oaf sailor top that goes for $105. First of all, it's adorable. Second of all, it's made of 100% cotton, so great quality. My first thoughts were that this is definitely a statement piece and definitely very trendy, leaning into the whole sailor aesthetic that's gaining traction at the moment. Like I mentioned earlier, I try to steer away from hyper trendy pieces because I feel like I end up regretting those the most, and a lot of people around me do as well. But knowing Sarita's style, if anyone, she could pull off this top and continue wearing it even after the trend is over. I know that her style leans quite rockabilly, psychobilly at times, and if you know anything about that style or subculture, anything sailor aligns with that subculture. My suggestion for this one would be to sit on it for like 30 days, and if you still want it, then get it. And if you don't mind shelling out the $105, that's fine. You work a lot, girl. Treat yourself. You deserve it. However, if you want something only you will have and you want to save yourself a little bit of coin, I say look for something secondhand on eBay, Poshmark. There's like a bunch of cute options that come up that are more affordable. The next submission is this Fashion Nova set, and immediately my brain goes to no, simply because the fabric looks very cheap. The seams are sitting on the body very poorly. If you look at the models, the bottom of the top and the skirt, they're like kind of curling upward, which means like it just was not sewn correctly. The only pro is that it is extremely affordable, but like I really think you can find something so much cuter. I'm not sure if you're looking for like that Y2K baddie sort of aesthetic, but there's a ton of options on Poshmark, on eBay, and way better fabric. My recommendation would be to pass and keep hunting for something better. The next entry is by Jane, and she said this top or anything from this brand. She's curious about the quality, etc. And the brand is Ride Dancy. It's funny, I was eyeing this exact same bunny top. So I did more research. I was curious what it was made out of, and sadly it is 100% polyester, and it has been sold out for a while, which means this top is extremely trendy and makes me want it less. Maybe you're the same way. So I would definitely go for something different on their website instead of this top. I wish I could speak to the quality of the clothing pieces, but I've never bought anything from them, so I recommend just looking at the reviews. It does appear to be a small business, which I love to support. It seems that the owner collabs with artists to create their pieces, which I think is super fun and extra special. I looked up other pieces on their website just to make sure not everything was made of 100% polyester, and it's not. Some pieces are made of cotton, jersey blends, etc. So that gave me hope. Personally, I love this specific dress right here. It goes for $150, and the art reminds me of Frida Kahlo. So cool. They have a bunch of other cool t-shirts and so many different options. So my answer is no, don't get that specific top, but yes to getting something else on their website that you really love. However, I do have a third suggestion for you, and that is to get something secondhand but similar. Two vintage brands that have a similar style. They do very like bold graphics on their shirts, on their dresses. The two brands are Save the Queen and Gusto Barcelona. Save the Queen is extremely expensive. All their pieces go for $300 plus. However, if you put them in the search bar, it'll come up with similar pieces and more affordable prices. Same with Gusto Barcelona. You'll have similar results, but just in more affordable prices. Try it. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. Personally, I have a bunch of Gusto Barcelona pieces saved on my Depop, but I still haven't pulled the trigger. I'm deciding on what colorway I like best, etc. So those are my suggestions to you. Hope it helps. The second to last entry is by Dia, and she's debating getting the Unif mod top. She said it's plain, but she loves the little details, and it costs $58. I'll be very honest, I might be biased in my response because Unif gifted me this exact top a couple months back, and I love it. The quality is great. I love the rib material, love the sleeves. The back is super cute. It has sort of like a V shape, and bonus points, you can still wear a bra without your bra showing. Also, it's not overly pricey for a Unif piece. And if you guys know Unif, they're a sustainably POC owned brand, so plus. Given my personal experience with this top, I would say yes, get it if you feel like you'll get enough wear out of it. Sorry about the angle change, my camera died. The last entry was by Elena. She said she's debating getting the Kenneth Cole Mary Jane pumps that she saw at Nordstrom. They previously went for $89, but have been marked down to $49.97. So a pretty good deal, I would say. It looks like they're patent leather, so not real leather, so the price makes sense. pants. I think they're really cute. The square toe is giving 90s. These type of shoes are very versatile. A couple of things. First off, are you a heel wearer? I've made the mistake of buying things with heels and never wearing them. But if you are a heel sort of person, that shouldn't be a problem. And also keep in mind that faux leather can peel over time, which is a bummer. So if possible, I would suggest going for real leather if it's in your budget. You did say that you were worried that you wouldn't know how to style these, and I feel like you could style these type of shoes in a million different ways, and I'll give you some ideas on the screen. You can wear them with skirts, pants, dresses. They look extra adorable with capris. That is all for everyone's entries. However, I thought it'd be fun to throw in my own entry. I asked my followers to de-influence me from the Lisa Says Got Dottie dress. I'm obsessed with this dress. The print is so cool. However, I was just unsure how much wear I would get out of it, and to be honest, the fabric looked very cheap, made out of cotton jersey. So a little iffy. It also retails for $178, which I think is pretty steep. I honestly wish it was like 100% cotton with maybe a little bit of stretch. It's safe to say I am no longer gonna get this dress, and if I ever do in the future is because I found it secondhand. You guys were so funny in your responses and also very helpful. I'll read some of them. Someone said, prints at this scale never look good. It's gonna be all stretched out and broken up, which I didn't even think of. That is true. Prints tend to get warped over time, washing and drying the piece, etc. Someone said it's ugly and will not be cute or trendy in 5 years. That is so valid. It is a very, very trendy piece right now. And my friend Denise said wait for 30 days and see if you still want it. Very useful tip that I used in this video as well. Someone else said I think it's hyper trendy, that would only work on certain occasions. And then someone said trendy as a statement piece but hard to wear multiple different ways. That's true too. And then Naomi is so funny. She's like, I think respectfully it looks like Temu modern day workout material, and you'd probably get 3 wears max until you're over it. Maybe this is just inspo for DIY, custom to you, which love that. Very true. And then Brittany said, personally I think Lisa Says Got material is cheap and not worth the price. So I'm assuming she has experience with purchasing from Lisa Says Got. I never have, but I've always been iffy about the way that the pieces look online, so that's validating. Someone else said, I see the vision, but the piece itself is low-key giving Redbubble. Real. And then someone said, which I thought was super important, it doesn't even fit right on the model, so there's no hope for it. Cute though. Which I didn't even notice beforehand. It is fitting super weird in the chest area. If it's ill-fitting on the model, imagine on myself. And then my friend Jan was like, bro, that's ass. So very helpful. Thanks, girl. Love you. That is that. I thought that'd be fun to go through that with you guys. That is everything I have for this video. I hope that was helpful or at least entertaining. Let me know if you'd like to see me do more of these videos. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Like if you like, sub if you haven't already, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye.